Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking INTELLIA Therapeutics, ticker symbol NTLA. As a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. This is just a research video that I put together meant to be educational as well as entertaining. We're going to take a quick look at a few different news clippings and articles surrounding the company, and then we're going to jump into the stock. Thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps people find the channel. Please enjoy.
Down here in San Diego.
Doudna co-discovered CRISPR-Cas9, a gene editing tool, with her colleague Emmanuelle Charpentier in 2012. In a nutshell, CRISPR is a protein that can go into a cell or tissue in any biological organism. So plants, animals, humans, and like scissors, cut open a string of DNA. And when that happens, DNA coding can be altered, so genes or biological traits can be changed. You are the co-founder of CRISPR gene editing technology. Can you tell me about it and what type of potential does it have?
What I'm excited about is the opportunity to cure genetic diseases, things like sickle cell anemia or Huntington's disease, potentially in the future something like cystic fibrosis. These are all diseases that have well-known single genetic causes, single genes that affect the patient. And what CRISPR technology does is to provide a strategy for correcting or at least mitigating those disease-causing mutations. And that's not a fantasy. It's not, 200 years in the future. It's something that I think over the next decade we will see those kinds of cures coming to fruition.
This past July, doctors for the first time in the United States officially used CRISPR to treat a patient with sickle cell anemia, a disease that creates deformed blood cells and can cause a shortened lifespan as well as some painful conditions. Doctors used CRISPR to give the patient her own modified and much healthier blood cells. But while examples like these show promise, some ethicists have raised questions, especially since CRISPR is widely deployed around the world. Gene editing can obviously be used for a number of different issues. So what do you have to say about some of the potential negative side effects of this?
I think anytime there's a powerful technology that comes along, it often comes with both the opportunities to create great value and benefit to society, but also risks, and I think that's true for CRISPR as well. For example, being able to change the DNA in developing humans in the germline that would create changes to DNA that affect not only an individual, but also can be inherited by future generations. So that's something that I've been working on for several years with my colleagues to educate people about that possibility and to really welcome a global discussion about how to appropriately regulate this technology.
Let's jump into this article from Business Wire. Blackstone Life Sciences selects cell professionals and INTELLIA Therapeutics launch new CAR T cell company. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire article, but I did want to just read the brief, just little overview. Blackstone announced today that funds managed by Blackstone Life Sciences have committed $250 million towards the launch of a new autologous and allogenic universal chimeric antigen receptor CAR T cell therapy company, along with INTELLIA Therapeutics and Cellex Cell Professionals, GmbH Cellex, the parent company of GEMoAB, GmbH, a clinical stage cell therapy company. The new company will combine GEMoAB's world-leading clinical stage universal CAR T platforms with INTELLIA's differentiated allogenic cell platform and CRISPR cell engineering. Now, I think that just this news itself is very, very productive for the company, for all parties involved, from Blackstone all the way to INTELLIA. And I think that it's just going to add, and the launch of this company will suffice all parties involved and perhaps bring some new insight with these types of therapies that will continue to go on. And again, these, any sort of news that's going to happen, obviously this is going to take a long time, or it's going to take it's just going to start a clinical stage cell therapy company, so it's really just about testing. So not to get too excited, but definitely something that is worth mentioning for the overview and for the research. It helps me wrap my head around what INTELLIA is doing currently and what they plan to do moving forward. So let's continue. Okay, let's take a look at this article from Biospace. Will INTELLIA make gene editing history? Saturday, this article came out today, a little bit earlier. Tomorrow, INTELLIA Therapeutics may set the biotech world on fire or not. Shareholders and those suffering from hereditary ATTR amyloidosis will only have to wait one more day for INTELLIA to present interim phase 1 data from its lead CRISPR-Cas9 in vivo therapy at the 2021 Peripheral Nerve Society (PNS) annual meeting. In what will be a big moment for CRISPR technology, INTELLIA and development partner Regeneron Pharmaceuticals will share the world's first data from a therapy that edits flawed genes inside the body. So again, I'm not going to go through the entire article, but we will wait to see what happens, and perhaps this news will come out, maybe late Saturday or early Sunday. But if you are interested in that, perhaps we can do a recap video of what happened at this presentation. So I think it is nice to see that they're making some progress and that they will be coming out at the PNS and allowing everybody, shareholders and patients and clients all alike, to get involved with something that's happening more recently and some development. So it is nice to say. I'll just go ahead and read the last portion right here, that if successful, INTELLIA 2001 could potentially be curative for ATTR, which currently requires daily, lifetime administration of a variety of drugs. These include Pfizer's Vyndaqel and Vyndamax, which in 2019 became the first medicines approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to treat ATTR-CM. So there's a lot on the line here. Obviously, this is something that I take very serious in my research. I am a biologist by my nature. My education is in biology. But I do like to see, big pharma or gene editing companies really produce, and I think that it helps. It's beneficial for the progress. So let's move on. Okay, let's take a look at this article from Intrado Globe Newswire. INTELLIA Therapeutics names James Basta JD as Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary. So Mr. Basta is coming to INTELLIA with more than 25 years of combined in-house corporate and law firm experience, most recently as Chief Legal Officer at Cura Oncology. Prior to Cura, Mr. Basta served in various roles in the legal department at Biogen, including as Senior Vice President, Chief Corporation Counsel, where he managed the legal representation for Biogen's securities, filings, Board of Directors, Business Development, Finance and Tax, Corporate Affairs, Employment and Information Technology. Prior to joining Biogen in 2006, he was a partner at Baker and McKenzie. Mr. Basta succeeds Jose Rivera, one of INTELLIA's founding employees, in 2014, who has served as Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary. Since then, Mr. Rivera will serve as Special Advisor to Mr. Basta to ensure a smooth transition and advise on key legal matters. Okay, I'm not going to go through the entire article now, but I definitely just wanted to highlight just a little bit of changing of the guard at INTELLIA, and I think it is nice for the transparency that you see whenever there's new leadership or anything like that, that you see that it's done smoothly and that it doesn't cause any rifts. So again, nothing too crazy. Some people really don't care at all about this type of stuff. I do. So let's move on, and I think it is safe to say that we can jump into the charts now. Okay, we are here on my trading view, taking a look at the INTELLIA Therapeutics chart. Just over a little year to date, dating back to September of 2020. And we see here they're from their November of 2020 earnings, where they still were still negative. They had a surprise of a 20.45% earnings. So the stock kind of just shot out there, and it hasn't really come back to prior levels. So we see here this level, right? It has since ascended, and I'm just going to make a few levels of support in the 40s. Had a nice pullback in March. There was a nice pullback then in the beginning of the year, And since the summer, right, we're kind of seeing a little bit of nice movements. It's failing to kind of break, and there's like this level around the high 80s, low 90s area that is serving as a level of resistance. And I think that it is safe to say that if we could perhaps break out of the high 80s, then perhaps making that a new floor, making that a new level of support, then I could see some more room to the upside. So let me go ahead and let's play out a couple of different scenarios. I'm going to make a trend line from right around here and move it out there, and then another trend right around there, right in that area. Actually, let me move this up right there. Okay. So if we can kind of like anything can happen, right? If it could trade in this area, and if it could bounce and become a nice little triangle here, if we can kind of break out of this triangle, that would be dope. But I can definitely see that anytime it touches this this bottom trend line, I could see it riding along there. I could see it if it dips below this or it has a hard time, getting back into that triangle. Then I see it as a great opportunity right there. Perhaps again, this is not investment advice. This is just something that I'm noticing that it's having a hard time. It's touching this high 88, 89 level, level of resistance. So if it plays out to where it touches and it bounces off, and we're finding a higher lows, then it's only a matter of time, I believe, with just based on good news, everything that's been happening with the company, that I could see that the stock takes off. So it's only, again, like I said, a matter of time until something nice happens with these companies, right? CRISPR, NTELLIA, Regeneron, they all are big pharma, big genomic editing companies. So a lot has to happen in order for them to be reflected in the stock price. But if they are still kind of like, in negative in earnings, which most of these companies are, then it's kind of, it's only a matter of time until once they start to catch on and some of their pipelines produce earnings, and then, who knows where the stock can go. But I am just noticing that sort of movement in this area, in this sort of triangle that I'm seeing here. And I think that it's safe to say that if it does continue to play along this triangle, it's only a matter of time till that level of resistance becomes a level of support, and then to the moon. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I want to thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps people find the channel. It helps me continue to make these videos. I know I didn't go through a lot of their pipeline, but INTELLIA Therapeutics, in my opinion, is top of the class for genomic editing, biotech type of companies. So if you found this information helpful, useful, drop a like. It helps people out. Until the next one, y'all take care.